Hello there, everybody. It's your boy Hunt, back with another episode of Tabletop Recap. Today's tabletop game isn't strictly tabletop. It has some video with it. Star Trek Seen It, the stellar trivia game with real TV and movie clips. Yeah, so you know regular Seen It. But how about a Seen It so specific that I can't find anyone to play with me? back in the day when I hung out with a bunch of Trekkies, we would play this, but I don't really hang out with Trekkers anymore. So, like, all my friends who watch Star Trek watch it real casually and have probably only watched The Next Generation and the original series. No Deep Space Nine, no Voyager, no Enterprise. And that's as far as this game goes up to, by the way, is Enterprise. Because Discovery and stuff did not exist when this came out. So I think Enterprise is as far as it goes. Yeah, so no Lower Decks. Sorry, everybody. But, yeah, it's from Screen Life. For ages 13 and up. Mattel Games. And it's for 2 or more players. It doesn't give a player cap, but there are only 4 miniatures to move around the game board. So, you know, that's how it goes. But yeah, it can be played with 2 to 4 players or teams, or if you want to do the quick stuff, like just the quick trivia, you can play with basically as many people as you can fit in your room. So, let's talk about the game rules. Once again, you will need a DVD player and some kind of screen to play this game. But you take the FlexTime game board, and you got to put it where you can see the TV and monitor and stuff, obviously. Choose your game piece. Each game piece is a different ship. So, you've got, like, Enterprise, the other Enterprise, the other Enterprise. I'm kidding. There are a couple Enterprises, though. But we do have a Defiant. That's me, boy. That's me, Ben Sisko for life. Oh, yeah, Ben Sisko is so cool. So, then you got to insert the DVD, right? And then someone has to be the DVD master, so they're the one in charge of the remote control, basically. You can navigate between menu items. Use the enter or play button to activate a selection. You guys know how DVDs work, right? Yeah. So there are also timer settings. So there's an on-screen timer for trivia card questions as well. And now here's how you actually play the game, right? You guys didn't need to know how to work a DVD player, did you? Well, you know what? Some kids might actually. These days, with all this streaming, those young kids don't know nothing about them DVDs. So you all roll the number die, which is just a normal die, a normal D6. It's not a special Star Trek one like we had the special Power Rangers die in the last episode. It's not like that. But there is a category die that will tell you what category your question is going to be in. There's my play, and you just answer the question that follows, and that's kind of for yourself. All play, where you got to be the first to answer the question correctly. Then there's United Federation of Planets. Select a trivia card and answer a question about aliens, ships, planets, or more. Stardate. Select a trivia card and answer a question about events in the Star Trek universe. IDIC, or Infinite Diversity and Infinite Combinations. Select a trivia card and answer a question about the world of pop culture surrounding Star Trek. And then Prime Directive. Select the Prime Directive card and move that game piece as directed. Or Player's Choice. Choose a trivia card in category, a Prime Directive card, and a DVD My Play question. Yeah, so there are like different challenges, like the My Play challenge and the All Play challenge that I mentioned. And then there are the trivia card challenges, which are the Federation, Stardate, and IDIC. And then the Prime Directive Player's Choice, which are different things as well. There's a warp speed space, so if you win any challenge while in the warp speed space, you move twice the number of spaces shown as the die on your next roll. And when you reach the end of the game path, you must stop on the space labeled stop. No matter what they may have rolled, you have to stop on stop. And from that point, they have 2 ways to win the game. The first is an all-play-to-win challenge, and if that proves unsuccessful, the second option is Final Frontier, which are just different ways to play. And for longer games, you can make the game longer and more competitive. Roll only the number die and advance your mover after getting a question right, rather than moving at the start of each turn. For shorter games, fold the board into its smaller circle shape, which is actually pretty cool. And be sure to roll the numbered die and move before answering questions. And for party play, which I actually think is really fun if you don't want to get into a big game, I actually enjoy party play. I have played it. There are these DVD challenges, like just for a room full of people. You put the DVD in, you select party play on the main menu, and you don't need to use the remote or anything. It'll just play each trivia question after trivia question, and you just got to see who's the first to shout it out. Not really super competitive, just kind of some fun party play. And if you want to get back to the regular game, just like hit return, game menu, etc. But it is pretty cool. I like the game board. It's a sturdy old game board. And the game it's pretty easy to learn. It's like, I remember how to play it even though it's been so long. Same with the Power Rangers game like we had before. Comes with the DVD and etc. Really cool. I just wish I had more Star Trek friends to play with these days. Not these filthy casuals I surround myself with. But Star Trek Seen It, I actually think is more fun than the Trivial Pursuit Power Rangers game we did last time, which is pretty great. And I feel like more people I know watch Star Trek instead of Power Rangers, so I could probably get a group together, but it would be a lot of people I don't normally hang out with, more than likely. I need to go to the comic shop and make some new friends, you know, when the comic shop opens again post-COVID. But yeah, Star Trek Seen It is a very fun game. I do recommend it for parties. Just throw that random Seen It thing up on the map, or up on the TV, and just let it play out instead of using the game board. I love doing that. I really do. It's super fun. I remember the first time we ever played this, each of us was like knowledgeable in a different Star Trek thing. Like, everyone knew all the Next Generation and original stuff, but then like one of us knew all about Voyager, and then one of us knew all about Enterprise, and then I knew all about Deep Space Nine, and it was like anything beyond the first two in the movies, like each of us was an expert on that other specific show, which is pretty funny. But yeah, Star Trek Seen It is a great game for parties. It's a great game for you and your Star Trek friends. Once again, the only real problem with it is it's specific to Star Trek. It's not just the general Seen It game. For the general Seen It game, pretty much anyone who watches movies and TV can play. Unless you've watched a lot of Star Trek, like, what's the point in the game, right? Luckily, I have watched a lot of Star Trek. But I don't really hang out with people who watch a lot of Star Trek anymore. So that's kind of a bummer. Just like my Power Ranger game, I don't get to play this anymore because I don't have friends that watch these shows anymore. So this one I didn't buy. This was actually a gift from my mother. Thank you, Mother. But the last game I actually got, the Power Ranger trivia game, I got at my local comic shop. Comics Plus of Macon. Definitely check them out at comicsplusofmacon.com. This is not sponsored. I'm shouting them out because they are a quality service, and they're my local comic shop, and you need to support comic shops these days. Comic and gaming stores. There's lots of games you can buy at the store. So definitely check out that website because their physical location is closed. And they're not making a lot of money, and they got to make that rent. We got to keep comic shops and gaming stores alive, especially in this COVID climate. Definitely check that out. One game I'll be reviewing soon is The Best of TV and Movies. This was the one I couldn't remember the name of in the last episode. The Best of TV and Movies from Spin Master. I've literally never played it. It's true. It's true. I've literally never played it. It's from the creators of the Logo board game, where you basically just guess companies and stuff. Once again, it's just another trivia game, but this one's more general, so I can play it with pretty much anybody, thankfully. But yeah, I usually just stick to sci-fi and comedy in my shows, so I fear that there's a lot that I'm not going to know in that game, but we'll have to play it to see, and we will be doing an episode on the Best of TV and Movies board game at some point. But today, first I want to say, this is our 40th episode. Is it not? Yeah, this is our 40th episode, and instead of getting everyone together to celebrate, it's just me. Wow. But I got to keep these going weekly, which means sometimes I'm just going to have to do it by myself, probably, so we don't have another big unplanned hiatus like we did several weeks ago. Don't want that to happen again. But yeah, so happy 40th episode! Woo, yeah! Oh, good times. Good times. Gotta love that 40th. So yeah, hopefully we'll get 40 more. It's only a matter of time before we're at 50. Can you believe that? Next thing you know, we'll be at 100 episodes. And this isn't even counting episode 0, so it's technically our 41st episode, because we had that introduction that everybody does on their podcasts. But yeah, that's that. And today, last time I promised I would give you guys a preview of my upcoming, ongoing Call of Cthulhu campaign. I'm just calling it Rural Horror, is the overarching campaign. But there's going to be several smaller things in it, and really each story will only take about a session to play. I'm just used to writing one-shots and stuff. So they're all going to be single-session stories, but they will kind of connect. Like, the first one will be called The Lost Mirror. It's basically a haunted house story with a twist. Then we have one called Clockwork, which is basically just a short story I wrote a long time ago for my other podcast, In the Fog. And it's kind of just become a game. And then The Maze and the Mask, which is the sequel to The Lost Mirror. Very fun. Past the Veil, which is loosely based on a movie that I really enjoy. You'll hear more about that once we play it. The Gray Road. It's about disappearances, and the investigators have to find out where all these people have gone. And then the newest part, Red Grass, which is going to be about a little-known North American cryptid and some murders. And then I also have some other stories, ideas that use the characters from these. Like the sheriff is a reoccurring character. There's a wealthy socialite called Emil Longspire that's a reoccurring character. It's gonna be fun. And after the next session of Karen's D&D campaign, I think I'm gonna try to get us onto Call of Cthulhu for a couple sessions as well. But I think we're going to start voting on which thing we play, Call of Cthulhu or Dungeons & Dragons. In that group, once again, I have two main gaming groups. One is really strictly TTRPGs, and the other group is mostly just me and Big Boy Chungus, honestly, because everyone else in it moved away. Connor and G moved out on us. But, so yeah, that group has a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. We're playing Descent into Avernus, which we recently posted a new episode about a couple weeks ago. And that group does play mostly trading card games and board games, though. And we have much more coming at you in the future. So yeah, that's probably it for today. So that's it for Star Trek Seen It. I'm going to go get Mexican food. I think that sounds pretty delicious right now because it's dinner time and I haven't eaten since breakfast. So I'm thinking I'm just going to stuff my face with some steak nachos, baby. Yeah, you show me those nachos, you slut. Once again, that's it for today's episode. Thank you all very much for supporting this show. I mean, basically making this show for you is my favorite pastime. It honestly is. Thank you all for your feedback. I don't really see any comments or anything or reviews that are left on iTunes because I do this through Anchor, which is why the sponsor is Anchor. But I do read the comments on the YouTube videos because I do have access to that. The YouTube, once again, if you're watching this on YouTube, it is a much better idea to listen to the episodes on like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, etc., because they'll be up earlier. If you're watching it on YouTube, the episodes always come out later on YouTube than they do on anywhere where you can listen to podcasts audio style. Like some of these episodes didn't come out until a month or two after. Back when my computer wasn't working and I couldn't get them all into video form. Luckily I can now. So thank you all very much for your support. Once again, if you want to check out DAT merch, it's on the eBay link in the description below. You can also find our Facebook, our Twitter. Everything is down there. So that's it. Thank you all once again. And I'll see you all next time when fate, you guessed it, knocks at your door.